Hello everyone, Ceri the Crafter here, that's C-E-R-I the Crafter, and I'm here with another page in my hashtag Mixed Media March 25 challenge. Now if you don't know what that challenge is about, look in the description box below this video. There will be a link to the launch video, it's all explained in there. Now before I get on to page 18, I have had a couple of comments and some updates that I wasn't aware of. Now, in this page here, which is page 16, if you watch it, I laid my stencil down and I did watercolour through it. And I expected there to be bleed through underneath the pieces of the stencil, and indeed there were. However, a couple of you have come and said in the comments that, was I aware there's actually a product out there called Pixie Repositioning Spray. So basically, you spray the back of the stencil, you put it down, it sticks down to a surface, and when you're finished, you can lift the stencil up, it leaves no residue, no marks, no glue or anything on the surface. Now, I did look on eBay and Amazon for it here in the UK. I found it, but it was £32 a can because it had to be imported from America. However, I have been told since looking at that, there is a British version of it. I just don't know what it's called yet. So anyway, so you could spray the back of the stencil, stick it to the surface, do what I did, and then once everything was dry, lift the stencil off and there shouldn't be or very little bleed through underneath it. So there you go. Right, now we're going to go on to page 18. Right, yes, 18. And 18 is going to be a double spread. So I need something under this to lift it up, don't I? Let's use this marble block I used last time. So I've got a nice double spread here, and I thought I'd start with a double spread, but I want to explain what I'm doing first of all. Now, I've done a lot of colour in this and a lot of techniques so far. Something I also enjoy doing is collage, and I enjoy my glue book. And I thought, how about let's do a black and white page? So I've pulled out as much tissue and background stuff as I've got that's in black and white. So I'm going to cover this completely in black and white papers, and then I'm going to come in and I dug out all of my other pieces of black and white, and we're going to use some of this imagery on it, and then I pulled out black and white words which we'll use as well. So my first job is going to be covering this. Now I'm probably only going to do a tiny little bit with you watching because you don't need to see me gluing. It's a bit repetitive, but I will certainly show you what I'm going to do. Now I know this is not big enough to do both of them, although what I would like is I would like to be able to do the outside edges of it. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come through and I'm going to cut down that fold line so that I know I've got a piece that's pretty much the right height. I'm not even sure any of this background is going to be seen, but I'd like to put it down just in case I choose to leave areas empty. So I'm going to be putting that on there, and then I'll have this spare piece. Now my aim is I'm going to now fold this piece in half. Not easy with tissue paper, but there you go. Let's give it a good fold there, because I know if I'm trying to juggle one big bit of tissue paper over this area, it's not going to work. I'm going to struggle so much. I'm struggling trying to get it apart. So I plan to collage the background with the black and white tissue. I am not tearing this tissue because this particular piece is actually wet strength tissue. Wet strength tissue only really tears in one direction, and I don't know which direction it is at the moment. So I think that's going to be on that side. This will go on this side. And then down the middle, I can put this down the middle if I wish, which I might do. And then I've got pieces, I can put pieces into it, I can lay pieces over it. I've got these sections that could come down the middle. I've got stuff, basically. I've got stuff. Now this, I believe, might be gift wrap tissue. Now I'm going to put this down with matte gel medium, only because it will prevent too much moisture going through the pages. The trouble is I'm going to have to put it down and not get it stuck to anything else, which is where the problem is going to lie for me. So I'm just going to put my cookie sheets, as I normally do, underneath here, or I would if I could do this. See, the trouble is that the stuff on the other side now is finished. So I don't really want to get that dirty. So let's put that under there. Hopefully that will help. Now the matte gel medium I'm going to be using is this matte gel medium, and I'm going to be using a reasonably large, it's a, what's this company? Ranger. A Tim Holtz palm brush, which means it's quite a large brush. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to start putting this down. Now I think I'm going to do the center first. And I'm going to use my catalyst tool, although I could easily, just as easy, use a scraper, or I could use a store card. I want to make sure that I get it glued right into the center there. Now I'm going to do it a little bit at a time out of the tube. I don't really have a lot of room on this desk when this is open to be spreading it out on something else. So I just want to get this center bit done, because I'm going to have to be drying this, I think, with a hairdryer once I'm done, because otherwise I'm going to have to wait for it to dry, and I don't particularly want to do that. So let's bring in, where's that piece? So just bring this in. Now I'm going to be able to trim certain little bits of it, like I'll be able to trim the bottom edge, but I can't trim this edge because it's up against the cover. So I'm just going to come in, finding that center, and then just use my catalyst tool to smooth this out a bit. Now I know I've probably not got enough gel medium here, because I can tell already there's not enough under there. And I don't mind putting a little bit over the top, just to seal everything down. So the reason I want to put this on here is, first of all, it's obviously the spine, but also it could potentially be the weakest part of this whole build is the spine, because if I get it too wet and then put stress on it, it's going to tear. So I don't want to do that. And as you can see, I'm juggling, trying to keep this as flat as I can. So that makes me happy. I've got that on there. Now I'm going to come in now, and I'm going to take my pieces and I'm going to work from the outside to the inside. I'm going to use exactly the same process as I just did there. Put the matte medium down, put this on and spread it out and smooth it flat. And then when I come in, I'm going to probably take maybe some of this section of this just to fill in this so it's one complete. So I'm going to stop the video now because I need to do that. And if I do that on screen, it's probably going to take me a good 20 minutes, which I'd much rather spend in another way. So I'll be back in 2 seconds, guys. So here we are, all glued down. So, and the thing is, none of this may be seen, but I just thought if I chose to not fill it all the way to the edges, at least it was decorated as a background. It is dry, well, as dry as it needs to be. I mean, if I feel it, still feels slightly cool, but that's fine. It'll have overnight to dry before I go on to the next page anyway. So, as I said, I pulled out a whole pile of images that were black and white. Just random ones. They're from a fashion magazine. They're amongst my fuzzy cut, and I'm dubious whether that's brown or black. It's a dancer, a couple of numbers, Twiggy, a beautiful young lady, a guy, another guy. I believe that's a woman. And then I found these that are quite like backstage sort of fashion images. So that was all I had in black and white, except for words, and I've got some words. And also, once I've done the whole spread, I'm going to have to work out, I'm going to have to put a white patch or something there to put the number on. So I'm just going to lay some of these on here just to get an idea. Now, where I'm putting them, they may not end up staying. They may move around. In fact, I'm almost certain they're going to move around, because that one's moving around already. Now, where was that guy? I quite liked him up there, and I don't mind there's a bit of white behind him. In fact, I'm quite happy there is white behind some of these. Now, some of these look like they might be slightly too large. If I tuck that under there, I'd be happy. There's the centre joint there. Now, I think, although she's stunning, even if I fussy cut her hair, she's too big. So she has to go back in my drawer of fussy cuts. Not overly keen on him. I did quite like this guy because it was just a really random image, but without something light behind him, I'm not sure, which kind of only leaves me with these sort of images. Where's Twiggy gone? I quite like Twiggy. Now I can cut these down slightly, so I'm not overly bothered. I'm not sure who she is. Maybe she's a somebody. Let's get my little trimmer out because I think that some of these are too big. So, sorry Twigs. I'm sure that's a very nice jacket, but guess what? It's been cut down. If you hear noise in the background, by the way, my neighbour is still having his roof done. Actually, let's take a little bit off the bottom of there. I'm still having his roof renewed, so basically any noise he makes in his house comes into my house, which is sending Biscuit, my dog, absolutely nuts at the moment. Right, okay, I'm liking that. I'm not going to start looking at words now, because if I start looking at words, I know what's going to happen. I'm going to then try and fit the images around the words, and we'll be here for hours. Now, if I take that across there, there's about there. I don't know why I quite like this here. It appeals to me because I was going to fussy cut around him, and I thought, actually, what about if I only fussy cut this half of him? I quite liked the white corner. That was the thing I was looking at. Now, for those of you who may be new to fussy cutting, it's always better to keep the scissors in one hand in one position and move your other hand with the paper to move the paper around and not the scissors around. So I'm predominantly right-handed at the moment. Wait, is that his shoulder? I was just about to cut your shoulder off, sorry, buddy. So I would keep my right hand in one position and then I'd move the paper with my left. If you were left hand dominant, you would do the reverse. And I think I'd just round that out to there. Yeah, I can still hear them banging on the roof, but you know what? No one sent them the memo to say they weren't allowed to make noise this month. So I can't blame them. You do what you've got to do. So that's him up there. As I said, I need to do something here so that the number can be in place. It's a pity I didn't have 18. I only had 21 or 12 or 1 and 2. Now the boot looks brown to me. The boot's not going on there, which kind of leaves me with these lovely ladies. Let's take that down a bit. So yes, I do have several glue books on the go. If you're unfamiliar with what a glue book is, how do I describe a glue book? It's a collection of images that appeals to you. They can be grouped in or out of a theme. Basically, you are making an image of other images, whether they're magazine images, whether they're book images, whatever you do, and then you just bind them all together or put them all into the book you're enjoying using. So there was this lady here. Actually, that's not working for me. I liked her there. I wonder whether she would go up here. If I take a chunk of her off, sorry lady, you know that diet you were on? You've just been dieted further. I think that will go there. Now I've got something up here. I'd quite like to take that out of there, I think. Let's see how much I can take off of this before I destroy the image completely. Right, I could take this lady off. I wonder if I take this image down a bit. Okay, that could come over. I need that. I need to leave that space is what I'm remembering, right? There's nothing really here that appeals to me more than what's already on there. I don't want to add that because of number. Do I like this better than that? I quite like this woman's face. It's a strong, interesting face. I wonder if I turn that one, if I put twigs down there and her up there. Twiggy's got serious attitude there. You know what? I liked it the way it was before. Because I've got words I might be able to slot in, or words may lay over other things. Which I don't mind that there. If I do that, maybe I can cut this down so it fits in up there. So at the right height. Okay, I think I'm okay with that. Do I want to make this slimmer? I think I do. There's enough black on the page as it is without having black around that image. He seems to be a random piece in there, but you know what? I don't mind that. There's something about that that's both spooky and good at the same thing, right? These other pieces will just go back into my box of goodies. So let's get sticking these down. Now I'm going to use glue stick, even though we know that this is stuck on with matte medium. At the end of the day, this is a really thin coat of acrylic paint on this tissue paper, and then I don't mind, because the thing is that this creation is for me, which means that if anything starts to lift up, I can actually just stick it back down again myself and no one knows any different. Right, I've got a gluing station over here because I need a gluing station for this. And I'm going to start by working in the corners first of all. Now, if you suddenly think, gosh, he doesn't have to glue quickly, that's probably because I've edited out quite a bit of the gluing just to save time on the video. So thank you for the compliment, but don't worry, I'm doing it in real time. Now I'm going to move her or him. I swear it's a her. I'm sure it's a her. Now I'm not trying to line up the edges with anything else. If it happens to be that way, it happens to be that way. Make sure that goes under the edge of there. To glue down. Well, at least I'm over halfway through now, because we're on page 18. Then, of course, I've got all the way to 31 to do, then a flip through, and then maybe a review of how the whole challenge went. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not 100% certain how many more videos there's going to be other than the 31. There's definitely going to be a flip through video, because there's always a flip through video, especially when you do something like this. I'm going to put all this effort into doing it, then you know what? I want to do the best I can so it's shared with as many people as possible so people can actually see it and appreciate it. What is that bit there? Are you just going to peel off, or are you going to... I don't really want to wipe it, because if I wipe it, it's going to smudge. I may have to add something over it. Oh, no, with luck. Oh, right, okay. Leave it, Griff. You don't want to put anything more on there. So just smooth down the edges. Now, I knew when I was doing this that I was having a tissue background that there would be slight creases. I also knew that creases will transfer through to the front image because the front image is our only magazine. I am good with that. That is totally okay with me. Right, now where is the centerpiece? Right, let's get a fresh bit of magazine page. I think this is the piece I want to put on next. And I need to know where center is. It's about there. Make sure it's level. It's so hard when... Next year, if I do another one of these, someone actually did advise me that my concertina book or art journal would lay flat if the covers are the same size as the pages within it. I didn't know that, so when I make next year's, if I do a concertina journal again, which I may do, there's no guarantees, the challenge will be happening next year as long as I'm able to run it. Then if the covers are the same size as the pages, basically, the pages will lay flat. I didn't know that, so my bad. Actually, I want to put Twiggy down, I think, next. I was very, very tempted to put a patch of colour into this, but I decided not to. Although I don't know why I decided not to. I like black and white with a slight image. Don't smear. A splash of colour. I even toyed with putting... Please don't smear on me. Come on. I'm so close to destroying this image. I'm going to leave that as it is. It's going to have to be what it is. I will decide whether I put something there when I get around to it. What was I saying? I've forgotten what I was saying. It's completely gone from my mind. I was stressing about Twiggy's face at the time. Right, so I don't mind you being over a bit, because I don't know, I might put words down here. If glue booking interests you, by the way, in any way, or collaging with magazine pieces, or doing master boards with magazine pieces and that, I would highly recommend going across and finding a channel called Relax Cut Glue, which is with Nicole. And basically everything she does is pretty much glue booking on some form or other. And she's very, very good at it. She was a lot of the inspiration I had when I was struggling with glue booking. I thought it was quite serendipitous that I found her, and by finding her, I then found out what I was doing that wasn't working for me. I don't want to say that was wrong, because as we know, there is no right and wrong when it comes to art, but there's certainly some hints and tips and tricks that I wasn't aware of. Right, I do think I want to line that up roughly with Twigster. Right, so make sure I'm not on the bend. That's annoying me that I've got that mark there. I wonder if I cut that down a bit. Where's my little guillotine gone? I could put that next to her. And I don't mind it being there because she kind of was a number one. Well, not kind of a number one. She was a number one. A little bit off the other side, I feel. I'll just call this the first page of this side, and that's why there's a number 1 on it. Unfortunately, it has to be quite close to the face to cover up the bit that got wet. And why did it got wet? Why did it got wet? What English is that, Griffiths? Why did it get wet? It got wet because there was glue on the image and I tried wiping it off with the damp cloth. Sometimes you can do it, like on, which one was it? On him. Maybe that was a better quality magazine than that was a better than that magazine. Sometimes the ink moves, sometimes the ink doesn't move. Right, so that's pretty much the image done. Now let's play around with words. Now I have pulled up everything that I think would work for me. I'm worthy of it. Actually, that works quite well with that, to be honest. Power dressing the story. Ruffle feathers. No, it doesn't work for me. Game on. Are you a cut above the rest? Are you a cut above? And put this in the parking lot. The life doesn't work for me. New. Not sure about that. So there I was rocking thigh-high boots. That's a statement and a half, isn't it? Actually, you know, I quite like that. Let's see if I can just trim a little bit off that edge. And I think if that went there, that wouldn't upset me. And I'm going to put it there now, because if my gut says it feels right, I'm going to put it down. There's definitely something about art that makes you question it. And I like art that makes you question art. See, I've got another bit of this glue is getting stuck everywhere, and it's my fault. I was lucky that didn't smear. Even if that's the only thing that says on here, it is he saying that? Is she saying that? It is Twiggy saying that? It's like, right, the story, lifetime, that doesn't work. Well, it works, but not for me. B is too big. Some things are meant to stay on the dance floor. Some things are meant to come home. That's a little bit. Right, so that says so something needs to be up here. I can cut that down a little bit, so I'm not worried about that. Let's just leave that sat there for a minute. Are you a cut above? I think I've already said no to that. Something bold. That's interesting. New smart, new light styles, no. Oh my gloss, that sounds like a lipstick advert for everyone. Crush. Leave that there. Did you hear? Experts. Otherworldly desires. That might fit this. Making waves. I think I've got what I need here, to be honest with you. Get rid of that glue thing so I don't stick something to it. Right, let's see what we've got. I do quite like that. And I think if I put that, cut it down a little bit. Right. What was this one? Otherworldly desires. Where's the seam? That might go there. Crush now doesn't seem to work for me. Something bold kind of does. And I'm thinking something bold might just go. I quite like words on the side, or on the vertical, should I call it? Right, this is appealing to me, so that's going to go down. And I did quite like it across here. Right. Yeah, this is working for me too. Hope to goodness that's straight. Again, trying to look through an iPad. I feel that's okay. I do need to do something here. I need to think of something. I think I'm just going to have to put a square of white paper in there or something. Right, now I did have I'm worthy. I'm worth it. But I'm not sure it fits now. And I think I don't want to put that on there. Now I'm looking here thinking I'd quite like something along there. But it needs to be a reasonably specific. I quite like the word power because I did say she looks strong. You know, I like that. That suits her. Where's the center? Right. Okay, I think that's it. Right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the camera, as I normally do, and then I'm going to sort out the signature area and the number. Put a hairdryer over this to make it totally dry, and then we'll come back for a really quick close-up, guys. Okay, back in 2 seconds. And here we go, all nice and finished. I actually took a piece of the whiter bit of the tissue paper from the background to make that lighter. I didn't really want a block of white, so that gave it sort of a greyish tone, and I managed to put the number and the signature in there. So just something different, something for my glue book followers and my collage friends. It was nice to work with black and white. I will be going back to colour. Not sure what tomorrow will be. Is tomorrow? Yeah, tomorrow is a single page. I might do a postcard. I might do an acrylic postcard. I'm not sure. I need to think about it tonight as to what I want to do, but I'm happy with that. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Just random images. You can read into this exactly what you want. Like, she's powerful. This is something this person was thinking. This is all about the #1 model of the 1960s or whatever it was. This can be whatever you make of it. Why he's there, who knows? He's just staring directly at us where everyone else is kind of looking away, except for good old Twigs. I suppose she's looking at us too, but I don't know. I'm enjoying this. I like doing collage. I like doing glue booking. So, I'm Ceri the Crafter. That's Ceri the Crafter. Until tomorrow. Goodbye now.